Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dads, listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Now recording.
Wow.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, the comic book movie journey through film continues with 1995's Batman Forever. I am Colton Robertson, and I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. We are also joined by the magnificent Tavarus Pennington. What's up, homie?
How's it going? Happy to be back.
Oh, and I am happy, so happy to have you. And we are again joined by yet another guest, this one very special to me, a best friend of mine for 15 years, good old Michael Muehlberger. What's up, homie?
What's up, Colton? How you doing, man?
I am dandy. I'm especially dandy to have you here. Like I said, you've been my best friend for a very long time. The fact that you haven't been on the podcast is blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
I needed you. And you came through for Batman Forever. This is a very, very fun movie. Released June 16th, 1995. Directed by Joel Schumaker and written by Lee Batchelor, Janet Scott Batchelor, and Akiva Goldsman. Mike, tell me, when I put out the open call, what drew you to Batman Forever?
What drew me to Batman Forever is just like the nostalgia feeling. You know, I remember this was growing up. This was probably one of the first like superhero movies I got into because I was born in like 99. So MCU hasn't really taken off yet. Star Wars is kind of starting off. Harry Potter, you know, there's things out there, but there's not a whole lot. And I know that these movies were out there. My dad definitely put me on. So seeing Batman Forever was like a nostalgia effect. I was like, ooh, I haven't watched this in 15 years. So I would come back to this one.
I love it. Did it hold up for you?
Oh, it blew expectations out of the water, actually.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I was in the same boat. This was one that I hadn't watched in a very, very long time. It was also one I grew up on. I grew up on Val Kilmer and Batman Forever and George Clooney and Batman and Robin, which was the other one you volunteered for, but someone beat you to the punch at that point. But those were the two, though. I remember having those on DVD. I spun them until they were scratched to all hell. I watched them all the fucking time. And this was one that I'd put down for quite some time. And when I picked it up, I was not expecting it to be quite as rock solid as it was. Like I'm wildly impressed with how this movie turned out. Joe, how you feeling about it?
Well, this was my completely first watch of this movie. I know it is weird, but I'm new to all these Batman movies. Completely new. Christian Bale was the first Kevin Conroy was the first Batman I heard and saw in cartoons and the video games and other animated movies. But first real life Batman was Christian Bale for me. So all these are new to me. And this one, for some reason, I never hear, I don't know why. Maybe I've heard about Val Kilmer in conversations about Batman a lot and just haven't paid attention. But I feel like I haven't heard about Val Kilmer a lot in Batman conversations.
Probably not. I feel like people kind of try to forget this. Like anything pre-Christian Bale is like you get an honorable mention, but that's about it.
Yeah, but like I don't see why though. I feel like he should be in the conversation a lot more.
Yeah,
like,
I'm saying right.
I don't know if it's just my first watch and I'm just liking it a whole lot more, but like this is the best Batman movie we've covered so far. I can say that confidently.
Live action.
Yes, true. Fair.
Live action.
That's fair. But like he's my favorite live action Batman so far, and he's in my top 3 of all time.
Ooh, that's
So,
high praise. No, yeah, see, like, we've covered Batman 66 with Adam West, both Keaton movies, and now Val Kilmer marks our fourth live action Batman movie. And I agree. So far, far and away my favorite Batman and Bruce Wayne. Frankly, like,
he killed Bruce Wayne.
Oh,
Dude.
He was so fucking good as Bruce Wayne. Here's my thing, is that, like, Michael Keaton's Batman and Bruce Wayne struggled with one very, very plain to see thing in every Batman movie. Oh, should I reveal my identity to this woman I love? And that was it. That was all he ever struggled with. There was no youngin' he had to look after and try to influence. He was hardly Batman. He didn't have a no-kill rule. He would kill motherfuckers left and right like it was nothing. This is the first time where you're like, oh, I'm watching a pretty comic accurate Batman movie. And it was very rewarding to see. Mike, obviously I attached some comics for us. Did you get a chance to look at them? If not, absolutely fine.
I definitely skimmed through them. The pictures helped out a lot with the comic books. I'm a big word guy, if I'm being honest with you. So a lot of words. I read a few of them. I will be honest with you. I read a few, like probably 5 or 6 of them. But yeah, I so I got a good glimpse of them.
Good. Yeah, because we always go over them in brief a little bit, just kind of if we got around to them. Joe, did you get a chance to take a look through these?
Indeed, yeah. I wanted a lot of the Two-Face and Riddler inspiration. I knew like that was coming, so I wanted that before I went into the movie instead of after for this one. So I got all of them in for this one.
And man, as far as adaptation is concerned, when we come to that rating, it'll do rather well. It's
man, only one gripe with that one, and I think we'll get there. Man. But
obviously, I included Detective Comics number 38, which is the introduction of Dick Grayson as Robin, who in the comic books is typically at that point in his story about 12 or 13. Not seemingly a 25 to 26-year-old playing a 17-year-old. I thought, Chris O'Donnell, he doesn't do bad in the role. He doesn't do bad in the role by any means, and it works for the story they're putting forward for the most part. But it's still a cop-out. I want young Robin. I want him to feel like he needs to protect a child who was about the age he was when he lost his parents, instead of and I mean, not to say that it lessens the blow for a 17-year-old-ish to lose their parents. Obviously, that's no matter what, fucking terrible. But the way that he was like, oh, we're going to avoid the system and I'm going to take you in and stuff. It's like, I was like, isn't this dude 20? I was like, doesn't he just go off and do his own thing now? Isn't that kind of how this works?
He was 25 at the time of recording this. 24, possibly 24 or 25.
That's crazy.
And
yeah.
Man, I guess the part of me that sees the Hollywood reasoning of we can get more out of an older actor, and I understand that, but that is just kind of lazy. You're we don't want to deal with a kid, but that's the thing, is that if you can just put a kid in a moment where the kid doesn't have to do anything. The kid could just be hanging off a ledge and helpless, and then Batman, I don't know, there's many things you can do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not mad of the Robin that we got. I'm just the only thing that gets me is just it would have been nice for how comic book accurate this movie was if they were truly accurate to Robin.
No, 100%. Tav, how you feeling about this movie overall? How you sitting with it?
I mean, overall, it's a classic film. I think it still feels like a fever dream in certain ways, but it airs on the good side of that, whereas Batman and Robin feels like a terrible fever dream. But yeah, largely at this point in the conversation, I agree with the belief that the approach towards the relationship between Batman and Robin kind of corrupts just the way that they're portrayed and what we'd expect based on the comic books. But even still, I think that they were going for a notion of Batman that wasn't necessarily based in our reality of Batman, our conception of Batman. It was so based in this more fantastical world that they're trying to create. And so that could account for some of those differences.
Well, and speaking of that fantastical world, it's interesting coming off the Keaton films how they vaguely allude to the Keaton films like they happened to this Batman, but then there are other things like the changing of the origin imagery where he can't remember all of it, whereas in Batman 89 you see Jack Nicholson playing this, or the young version of Jack Nicholson shot and killed his parents. So like, but then there's also that point where Chase Meridian, Nicole Kidman, by the way, wow, that woman's a smoke show in 95, huh?
In 95.
we come to this place for magic. I don't know if you guys have been to AMC theaters lately, but she does the whole little AMC opening thing.
That's her?
Yeah. We come to this place for magic. She has the Boston accent that's like really thick.
Wow.
To
that's
love,
nuts.
to cry. Yeah.
Never
No,
gonna see
fucking
this
love
name
Nicole
now.
Kidman. Love Nicole Kidman. But whenever she brings him up to that rooftop and she's like, she's like, oh, what, you need me to be in a skin tight leather suit? You know, like that's obviously alluding to Selena Kyle in Batman Returns. But like, then like, so it's interesting the way they pick and choose these sorts of things to canonize, because it's still produced by Tim Burton, but it's not. It's a new direction, you know. Joel Schumaker at the helm, and he's at the helm for Batman and Robin as well. And I like that.
I need to get off early how horny this movie was. There were times like, okay, for one, I'm gonna get my favorite shot out of the way early. Val Kilmer's ass in the Batsuit. He suits up and it literally focuses on his ass as he turns, and that's it. That's the shot. It's insane to me that is in a Batman movie. Actually, like that is actually. I had to rewind it to like I'm like, no way that was his ass, because I'm like, I thought it was his legs or his calves or so. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I swear I saw that wrong, and I rewind it. Yeah, no.
A couple things are coming into fruition now that you say Joel Schumacher directed both this one and Batman.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing. That's what's crazy about this one compared to Batman and Robin is it's made by the same guy.
Yeah,
and there's a relatively large drop off in quality.
But there's still some similarities.
Certainly,
i.e., the focus on the ass,
the horniness. It's a horny movie,
and like the whole love story is literally just. She has a kink for Batman, and Batman has never fallen in love before, and is just horned up, and it doesn't get any puss. So it's like, they literally are just like horned up to the max, and they're just near each other. That's literally all that happened. There was no like love there whatsoever. It was all just straight horn dog, and and they're like, Alfred is trying to make it like beautiful. You know, like I don't know. I should tell her how I feel. You know, like. I have these deep feelings, like I feel like I've known her
bro,
for a
you're
lifetime.
experiencing sexual tension. That's all that's happening here.
Is it implied that he got a boner and that's why he had to leave and jump off? Because like, I feel like she was like feeling him up a little bit, and then like he kind of looked down and then turned around and left, and like, I wanted it'd be hilarious because there's like one frame where it shows his crotch, and I don't know if it's like. It'd be hilarious if it's just rocking or something like that, like for that one frame.
He's got the full schlong going.
This movie was horned up, man. And I can't wait for the next one. I apparently it's turned to 12 next movie. Crank that up even more. So, shit. But
no, certainly. But Mike, we're talking all about this romance element of the movie, and it's obviously a very big part of it. Coming from someone who has watched it a very long time ago to more recently viewing it, did you happen to feel like you don't know how you missed some of these things when you were younger?
Yeah, definitely, especially now that I have experienced like hormones and feelings and all that, and know like, ooh, women. Yeah,
sexual situations and at large too. Yeah, like
stuff like that. Like I definitely noticed there was a lot more sexual tension the entire time. Basically, like it kind of went back and forth between like I think both Bruce Wayne and Batman, I could just pick up on both characters
big time.
with the same Dr. Chase Meridian. Just like I could just pick up the entire time. Like she's so down for him.
The line where
Dude.
Bruce says, like, I gotta get you out of those clothes.
Oh, dude.
And into a black dress. Like, no way you say it like that, dude. You know?
Yes.
Like, oh my God.
She was like, oh. And then he was like, get into a black dress. It's time to go to this event. You know, like, come on now. And the way they were like, bro, like, up in each other's faces, like, they're basically fucking moaning. You know, like, they were just like, oh man, I could really kiss you right now.
Job, like you're just sitting there, just like just get really close and breathe in each other's face. So just be like,
it's just like they're two psychopaths. It's basically they're both. I mean, honestly, it's kind of what they are. They're both just kind of like one
Chase
is
Meridian.
a psychopath. Like
Chase
Batman,
Meridian is a terrible doctor.
Yeah, no, she's just obsessed with crazy people. She's not an actual like. Well, I guess I don't know. She has an actual degree and stuff like that. So like, fair enough. She has the credibility to be a doctor, but like, I think she just has like a kink for fucked up people.
What intrigued me is this comes after the first season of Batman the Animated Series. And that show introduces Harley Quinn, who is this on the flip side. She is super into damaged psyches, and that ends up leading her to being attracted to the Joker, not Batman. But it felt like this was like, oh, what if we did that? But like for Batman instead of the Joker, dude.
I guess it would make sense. Like there would be people that would want to fuck the shit out of. Like people would want Batman. I mean, come on.
I want Batman.
Come on, dude. That's obvious. Like that's obvious. So like that is fair. These women would exist. But like I don't know. It felt very. Every woman in this movie was only there for sexual reasons. There was almost no situation. Well, other than the little bits of like Dr. Meridian's like actual good moments in the movie. But like every other woman, like especially Harvey's, like two women that he has, literally one for each of his dude. Oh man, that was like insane. How much like they got away, like not even got away with. It's just the 90s. That's just how it is. But like imagine trying to do it in a movie today. Like I don't know, just I don't think that could work.
No, certainly not. And I mean, I feel like they kind of knew that they were marketing this towards a specific audience, which is why some of the creative decisions were made. But I mean, it even as a comic story, like, do we really see, I guess, new dynamics between characters outside? Because my thinking would be that as a director, you'd want to be like, well, there's no Joker in here, right? How do we make up for that? How do we make up for that presence? And I mean, this is just riffing, but it could have been a really cool way to maybe kind of position Bruce Wayne in some of the same positions that we think of the Joker in typically, to make up, I guess, for his lack of presence, which would then have made the Doctor's relationship with Bruce Wayne make a little more sense, maybe.
It is fair of like how the Joker's not in the movie. They had to make up for it by putting two villains in. Like, that's the power of the Joker. Is like when you have the Joker, that's all you need. And like, I guess like beforehand, I mean, with like Jack Nicholson did, he was okay. And like, I forgot who played the one in Batman 66, but like there were 4 villains there in Batman 66. But like, to replace the Joker is hard. But like, I think if it was only Two-Face or only the Riddler, I don't think it would be as strong. Like having both of them and have them kind of fighting and working together at the same, it was like really cool. Like the whole dynamic of it.
The thing that I feel like we'll generally come to notice going through comic book movies is that villains are just written horribly for a long time. They were just like stock characters, like bad person does bad things, they think bad thoughts. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. This was an interesting a take on Riddler, for sure. Just Like, instead of just being just a somewhat genius already, like, he was already a genius, I guess. He's working at Wayne Industries. And I love that that's what Wayne Industries is. Just one hallway of a room where science is being done at different stations. And it's
Science
all different.
happens here.
Like, this is propulsion. This is, like, I love how it's like just in one room. Like, obviously, all propulsion just can be done at this one desk right here. That's what is done at this. I don't know. I love that. And how the Riddler had his own little section for brainwaves. The future of Wayne Industries is a brainwaves. I don't know. I love Jim Carrey though. Like,
Jim fucking Carrey, man.
Jim Carrey makes so much sense in a movie like this. Like, if there was anyone that you carry between Joel Schumaker, I don't see why it wouldn't be Jim Carrey.
No, yeah, I don't either. Like, cause the thing for me about this movie is that it feels a lot of the time like they were just like, all right, you know where this has to go? Jim Carrey, do whatever the fuck you want in the meantime. Literally body language, staging, wherever you want to go. That's one thing I noticed about this movie too, is that like it's not shot with, there are some shots that are like pretty purposeful, like you can tell they had an intention and they executed it, but there's a lot of times when the Riddler's on screen where it's just kind of wide. It's like wherever the Riddler goes, we need to be able to see him. And I think it's because they genuinely just let Jim Carrey loose. Like they were like, do whatever the fuck, man.
While watching, I got that impression. Like, it just felt like they were like, all right, do your Jim Carrey thing. We'll have a few lines that you need to say and a few like things you need to hit. But like, other than that, like he was just doing his thing, man. And it was awesome. Like that's the thing about Jim Carrey, is that he's just a natural performer, and that it's just in any movie. Like, what the fuck? He's a pet detective. He's the Riddler. He's a dumbass. He's, like, what the fuck? The dude is just anything, but he does the same stuff in everything, but it works. Like, I don't know. It's insane.
Yeah, I completely agree. When I was watching this for the first time, again, because I watched it a few times, I definitely got a lot of the Mask vibes from Jim in that movie, but it's just like the same green, goofy character, and it plays him off so well.
Oh, absolutely, and he's the reason that I end up electing him as my favorite character of the movie.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was well, because here's the thing. I did end up falling into a similar thing that I did with Batman 89, where it was solid, it was well performed and stuff, but there wasn't really a character I was like, oh yeah, I like that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Batman was about as well done as he's been so far, and I always like Batman. But like I was like, you know what? I think Jim Carrey has earned this. The characterization of Riddler, like, it would have been, I can't imagine anyone else in this role. Like, it was the way that he portrayed this Riddler, this Edward Nygma, it had to be done the way it was done. And as a lot of things with this movie are to be the case, it's way over the top at more often than it probably needs to be. But it was still so fucking fun to watch, and Jim Carrey was a big part of why it was fun to watch. So I ended up going with Riddler as my favorite character.
That is fair.
I mean, for I kind of go with Riddler for Jim Carrey for best performance.
That's more fair, because this was the first Batman movie. This Batman was the main character here. Like, it wasn't the villain show. It wasn't, like the other Batman. The Batman and Bruce Wayne were the focal point of the movie the entire time. Like, if it was not about Bruce Wayne directly, it was about killing Bruce Wayne or Batman. So, like, he is the central focus, and it is about his torment and all the other torments. So, like, I don't know. Character-wise, it's Batman. It's, like, and Bruce Wayne. And, like, it's too strong for me to give. But the performance is where I might be able to give it to Jim Carrey, but I can't if I'm putting Val Kilmer as, like, my top 3 Batman right now.
All the reasons you just listed for why he gets the character nod for you are why I ended up going with Val Kilmer as Batman Bruce Wayne for my performance, because he made this character feel more like Bruce Wayne and Batman than I think any live action character had before. And I think that with the writing he was provided, it was going to be that way. It was probably going to be that way. I think if Keaton had this script whenever he did his Batman movies, there's a chance that he has a little bit better of a chance to shine. They just didn't give a shit about the principles of Batman in those movies, and this one did a little bit more. But I do think that Val Kilmer delivered a performance that was just better as far as live action is concerned compared to the predecessors he had before him with Adam West and Michael Keaton. But there's still those notes of it that's like trying to be Kevin Conroy's, which I think it's, again, important. This came after Mask of Phantasm and the animated series, where I think it's like, oh, okay, that's what we need to be trying to do with this character. And when
Holy
this movie,
Batman, the sacred Batman,
it's the freaking Bat.
Yeah, it's the gold standard. That's what I'm looking for. The gold standard of Batman is Kevin Conroy, and as close as you can get, or if you want to do it in some other fashion, but you better do it damn well. And I think, that's the thing, is that like the only Batman that I feel like kind of passionate about is Kevin Conroy, Robert Pattinson, and Val Kilmer. And Christian Bale is close there. It's just for the nostalgia, but like, I really think Christian Bale was not the main character of his movies. It was kind of the villain. Batman Begins, he is, but the other two, he's not. Like,
well, there's only I'd argue there are only two good movies in the Dark Knight trilogy, and then Dark Knight Rises exists.
It exists. It's okay. The twist was like the first watch was cool of that one.
I still got a little love in my heart for Christian Bale. Like he did us right for a long time.
He was Batman. He like whenever I would visualize Batman, it would be Christian Bale for a
long time.
Like, to be fair, he does deserve a lot of credit, but like
especially with our generation.
And I mean, when I think of his Batman voice, I think of it very similarly to Kevin Conroy's. I think that is a big reason why Christian Bale was successful, was because he was really good at performing Batman. Less so Bruce Wayne.
No, you gotta get to this place, and you gotta do it fast, or else it's not going to be done at all.
That's Christian Bale.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like as if he like, because he has I believe a Welsh accent or something like that. Having that accent makes him going over the top in his vocal acting more okay, if that makes sense. Like people are already like, well, he wouldn't sound like we might expect him to in the first place. So this grotesque voice he's doing right now, that's more okay.
What the city needs, what it wants.
Val Kilmer, he didn't really change his voice a whole lot. He really kind of just kept it the same as Bruce and Batman. He just talked.
Yeah. And I think that, especially given his predecessor in Keaton and Adam West, they stayed relatively the same. I think what's interesting is Christian Bale's really the only example of a character or an actor portraying Batman that was like, oh, I'm going to switch my shit up hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, Robert Pattinson's just kind of like a low, calm whisper of his same voice. Michael Keaton was kind of in the same vein, but a little louder. And Val Kilmer, I think he's more on that Adam West type shit where he's just like, yeah, I'm in a mask. You can't recognize me. That's cool.
Unless you kiss me, and then you'll recognize the kiss. See?
We talked about this last week with Mask of Phantasm and treating characters with intelligence, like women with intelligence in specific. They still didn't do it. They still didn't do it right. The doctor, the person with some sort of PhD who interacts with Batman and Bruce Wayne on a regular basis, and who Bruce Wayne says a lot of overlapping shit to.
That's
He's like,
an ink blot, and you saw a bat, and you're telling me about your twisted, tormented life that you lived two lives, and you saw a bat.
That's weird.
I won't think anything of it until you kiss me later, after you kiss me as Batman first.
wait a minute, you're Bruce. You know, like I'm always a fan of when the love interest figures it out on her own. I'm not super cool with it when it took this long. You know, like there were a lot of like glaring, like when you look back at Mask of Phantasm, Andrea Beaumont was like, oh, he was standing at Bruce Wayne's grave, or Bruce Wayne's parents' grave. That must be Bruce. You know, like that's all it took. It was one little tiny thing that might have connected it, and she was like, oh, that's definitely him. That's gotta be him.
Oh, dude, the opening, like in the Batcave. Okay, we'll admit the Batmobile might be a little over the top. I don't know about the flappy wing. I don't know about that.
Batmobile is ass in this movie. This is a bad Batmobile.
But every other technology is so cool, though. Like every other thing is sick. Like his belt, like his toolkit that he used. Like he used way more tech in this movie than anywhere else.
What I love is that everything had like some sort of blue light glowing on it.
I don't know
Even
why.
if that did absolutely nothing. Like whenever he threw like the bat rope and like wrapped the dude up at the beginning, I was like, oh, what's that thing about to do? And then it's just like tightened and it was like, yep, that's it. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, yeah, I guess that's cool. But I love that. I love the general aesthetic, and you could tell that's what they were trying to go for with that Batmobile, but they didn't have the technology and the means to not make the Batmobile fin flappy. Like that was just a result of what they were going for. They were like, it's not supposed to be flappy, but it's what we've got.
That's just rough.
Yeah.
It looks more like a fish wing, or like a fish fin than a wing. If anything, you know, it looks like he's just driving around like a fishmobile instead of the Batmobile. But honestly, that's like my only gripe, because like his suit, like I like it. I like his suit.
And
Sometimes nipples, sometimes not is the thing. Just whenever he's feeling it. In the horny scenes, though, he has nips every time. Every horny scene, he has nips.
They're standing at attention. Well, and that you know what that implies.
the touch.
It implies that when he's horny, his nipples get hard, and that's it. Like that's the only time. And his suit is so not that his suit is so malleable, but his nipples are so powerful that something that guns can't penetrate, his nipples just make dents in.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
That's nuts. His nipples can actually cut diamonds. Yeah, I don't know why I went there. But, actually, I know why I went there is because I'm thinking about as he's talking to Alfred, and he's like, I should go tell her how I feel. And Alfred's like, yeah, dude, come on. Go get some, dude. Go get laid. You need to get laid. You're depressed. Go. He's not in costume. So he chose a costume that he knew he assumed that he was about to fuck in, right?
Right.
He had to pick a suit that he knew he was about to fuck in, and it had nips. He went for it. Like, I don't know. Do you think the suits already have nips, or his nips are that hard? Okay, so you're kind of changing my perspective on this now. I think it's like optional. I think it's like situational. He's got different suits for different occasions. He's like, okay, what do you think's in that tool belt?
I need a sexy suit. I'm gonna get the one with nipples on it.
What do you think's in that tool belt? In that suit? You know,
all sorts of toys.
I mean,
in an ideal world.
There's some handcuffs on there for sure.
Oh, I mean, he's always got handcuffs. I think, regardless of some.
He's just gonna wrap your legs up in that bat rope and hang you somewhere.
Seduce him.
He's gonna be like, you like that?
Bats hang upside down when they have sex. I do the same thing.
Yeah. Wait. Mike, though, what was the prior to this? What was your like most recent engagement with Batman? Was this the first rodeo in a while, or did you catch Robert Pattinson's and enjoy it? Or...
So when I probably watched that for the first time probably about a month or two ago.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was on my list to watch whenever it first came out, because it came out on HBO Max around like I think 420, which I think was supposed to be a tie-in watch, and then something came up, and so then it happened. So I just never really watched it or had it on my mind, because it was supposed to do one and then do the other.
Yeah,
and so so Robert Pattinson, yeah, I watched that about a month or two ago.
Gotcha. How, like in comparison, I'm just curious, how you feeling about this compared to that?
And that's kind of like what my reasoning is. Like, I was just like kind of caught off guard. My expectations were not at where it ended up, and I love going back and watching the 95 because I was, most recent Robert Pattinson's very serious, dramatic. There's not really a lot of satire in it. It's just more focal and talking, and then you come go back damn near 30 years. Holy hell!
Yeah,
and completely different vibe, and I like that.
No, I get you. I get you for sure. That is something that this era of superhero movies is bringing to the table that we just don't get that much often. And I think that's why a lot, like, this is going to be like fucking, wow, can't believe we just connected it to that. But like Thor Love and Thunder, I think a lot of people aren't fucking with that because that's more like one of these than it is like one of the modern comic book movies we watch. And like, I get it. The movie's not as good, but like, are you having fun? Like, how about you loosen up a little bit? Have a little fun with the movie you're watching. Not all of these are supposed to be like, oh, wow, now that was a masterpiece of cinema.
Yeah,
you're coming to a comic book movie. I don't know what you were looking for.
Seeing Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, like, act like this was kind of nuts. Like, I've only seen him in serious roles, like Men in Black and like just, I don't know, just he's never like that. I don't know, in anything I've seen.
Men in Black a serious role?
That's what I was about to point that out. I was about to say.
I guess like, fair. I don't know, but it's not as
this is extremely over the top. It's the same way Jim Carrey was playing the Riddler.
Okay, yeah, it's not literally he's contorting his face and I don't know. He doesn't do anything in Men in Black like he does in this movie.
I understand how you could think of Men in Black as a serious role because he's so deadpan in most of those movies.
Yeah, he is very stoic.
That's what I mean. Is that like he's not a carry. He's not freaking exploding around and Tommy gun and freaking laughing and fucking two girls at the same time, smoking a cigar and a cigarette, drinking 2 drinks at the same. This dude is freaking baller. Okay.
No, and I did want to talk about this right quick. The comic accuracy with this Two-Face is nuts. I love this version of Two-Face, and it's I like that it's Tommy Lee Jones. I'll always wonder what it would have been like if we got Billy D, the way it was probably originally conceptualized. But hard to complain when you got Tommy Lee in there. He it
was supposed to be
Billy D was Harvey Dent in Batman 89 and Batman Returns. Yeah, like so it was they took.
I thought you meant that this was like he was originally cast for this movie as well.
Oh, well, that's the thing is that it's like a soft continuation.
A soft sequel.
Yeah, like it's
like a soft prequel, right? Because is correct me if I'm wrong. Is Robin from Batman Forever the same as Robin from
Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels very much like a soft sequel / prequel.
Yeah, it's like the first soft reboot. Like they were like, let's just go ahead and do this thing. We'll keep some of the elements from the Batman you knew previous, Alfred and Commissioner Gordon and stuff, but like we're going to change up everything else around him. And I all in all, I like this movie a hell of a lot more than I like either of the Keaton movies, like we already said. But I can't in good faith tell you it's better.
Bobby D. Williams was actually originally in his contract was written to become Two-Face eventually in a sequel, and they had to buy him out to cast Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. So they had to make the actual hard decision to recast Tommy Lee Jones.
So the contracts from
in 1989, District Attorney Harvey Dent was played by Bobby D. Williams. Williams accepted the role with the knowledge and expectation that Dent would eventually become Two-Face. He reportedly had a clause that put into his contract reserving the role for him in any sequels, which Warner Bros. Had to buy out so that they could cast Tommy Lee Jones. It says Williams eventually would voice the character in the Lego Batman movie, which I didn't know.
Yes, he did, and it's fantastic.
Would eventually voice the character.
So wow, that's kind of nuts. He was originally cast, and claused to become Two-Face.
Well, and there's that other thing is that like I can absolutely, it can go one of two ways with Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. It can be, oh, this is one of my favorite comic book movie performances of all time, or I don't know, Billy D seems like too nice of a guy for that. You know what I'm saying? Like Billy D, like he's just got this suaveness to him that Two-Face simply doesn't. But you know, I would like to see it. I would like to see it.
Wow, Robin was originally supposed to be Leonardo DiCaprio at age 21 at the time of recording, which he turned down the role because he didn't like Schumacher's direction.
I cannot, that's ringing a bell for me now, but I can't remember where I saw it. But it was like, it had to be some other actor being like Leonardo DiCaprio. Something I was reading was talking about how Leonardo DiCaprio for like the past 20 years has gotten offered like every leading man role first. Like
he is always the first choice and everyone else is second. Everyone reaches out and is like, will Leo be in this? And he's like, no. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll look other places.
Yeah.
But like, what's cool is Leo's been like, he told Timothy Chalamet, I don't know if you read that article recently where he told Timothy Chalamet, no superhero movies.
Wow.
Don't do superhero movies because then you get locked into this one role for an extended period of time. You start to get typecast and you stop seeing range in your roles. And it was interesting because that's what's so unique about this era of superhero movies, 90s and aughts, is obviously we have all these big A-list names now, but like part of the reason that some of the A-list names are A-list names is because of the MCU, not because they were A-list names and then they got MCU roles. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Evans, that's an A-list actor. He's not an A-list actor without Steve Rogers. He's just
I don't know. His work on Fantastic Four, I think that really...
yes, Johnny Storm. You got to remember.
Totally joking. Fantastic Four.
No, yeah. Fantastic Four fucks, for the record.
Evans was the highlight.
Facts. Or Jessica Alba.
One last little factoid that I'll mention. Jim Carrey was originally going to carve or shave a question mark into his scalp with his hair. But he couldn't because he had to be in court for divorce. So he couldn't show up in court with a question mark shaved into his head or bald, I guess, because you would have to, I don't know. That's kind of nuts. Imagine a world where Jim Carrey's not going through divorce at this time and we get a question mark shaved into his head. Be pretty sick. I wonder, like, where do you think the dot is? In the back or in the front?
Gotta be the back.
I would say the back.
So, like, it's the squiggle and then line and then dot?
I think it would come from, like, the left side of the back of the scalp, come over the top of the crown of the head, come around, and then be like a little rat tail dot at the bottom.
Okay. And honestly, it was kind of sick him making a question mark in the sky out of the bat signal, though. That was pretty sick. Whenever he turned it green and then like just laser beamed a question mark into the whatever technology.
It's no different. It's no different than Batman 66 when the Riddler like blew up a bomb and it happened to spell out the fucking words in smoke. You know,
this dude is stealing brainwaves. I don't give a fuck. He can do anything he wants in this movie. Like, the technology can just do anything.
Bro developed Westworld technology.
Yeah, and it was a blender. Did you, like, the first prototype, literally, like, I swear it was a blender. Like, the jar that was on the first, whatever thing you want to call that, contraption that he had. But I love how it just scaled up into this alien tech. Like, it looked just so alien, and like the Riddler just being this sucking up everyone's brain juice, being mega genius, you know, just like, and that, I don't know, it was just so awesome. Like I loved every part of it.
One of my favorite moments in this movie is the doctored footage of what happened in Wayne Enterprises the night that that his boss died when he killed him. They're like, he's like crying, running towards the camera or running towards the window, and it's a bad death. That's a terrible. Well, I liked when Commissioner Gordon fell out of it, like found like the the fucking letter that was like, my suicide. Goodbye, cruel world. He was like, yep, definitely a suicide. Like that's as far as the investigation went. He was like, well, this letter isn't suspicious at all. Fuck it, you know?
Nope. And he's like, thanks for your help, Bruce, as well. Like, and like nothing happened. Like Bruce did nothing other than access the security file for him, I guess. And he didn't even do that either. He literally just was curious and wanted to see it himself. So like, yeah, I don't know. It was really funny. He's like, yep, definitely suicide. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it. Good day. Case closed.
You got us happy.
Yes.
Let's see. I don't know. We haven't talked about Harvey enough. I don't think. How like
I was about to branch it there. Because
I think Harvey, yeah, he deserves some talk.
Go ahead, Mike.
Favorite character
yes.
That was who I chose as my favorite character.
Okay.
Fuck yes. I'm so happy with that.
One is just because I feel like there's like a lot of supervillains, whoever when they catch their prey, catch the person they're after, they just like they tease it, they talk too much, and they allow the person to escape. Where this movie, you know, when he comes up the elevator, he immediately tells his guys to light up the elevator, you know, and then and when he catches him in the safe, like he gets him out and then immediate acid. And then lots of flame at him whenever they catch him in that little one weird cave kind of.
Didn't know he had a cape contraption to keep him fully, you know, like whatever that was. Which was
then potato gun at him, which like he just like was always on site. Like, hey, my mission is to kill you, so I'm actually going to try and kill you rather than just talk about it and then let you. You know,
no, that's true though. It adds such a great deal of stakes to this movie. Like and I mean, like the fact that he does kill Dick Grayson's family, like that's pretty huge. You know, we watched the Joker fuck around and like poison a lot of shit in Batman '89, but it was so not personal when Joker did it. Like Two-Face was in motherfuckers' faces going, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill your ass."
I mean, he literally flipped his coin and it landed on heads like twice. He's like, fuck! Like trying to kill Batman, and then it finally landed on tails, instantly shot him in the head. Like, he grazed him, but like, no hesitation. He's like, yes! And bam! And it was like, oh my fucking god, this dude is actually insane. Like,
that's one difference from the comics. I'm kind of like, on. Harvey Dent usually operates by the faith of the coin.
Yeah,
if it lands on heads
multiple times, man, that kind of defeats the purpose.
He's gonna do it good.
Yeah, you're looking for a expected turnout when you're flipping it multiple times. You know, it defeats the point of the coin flip.
It's like just do the thing then.
Like yeah, dude, that's what 1/8. It's like 1/8. I guess like so a 12% chance of that happening, of it being heads 3 times. So like he was bound to kill him. Like, it's bound to be tails. Like, it's just, I don't know. He's just one, I don't know. I guess it added a nice aspect to the movie, though.
It wasn't pretty good. It was effective in tension building. Like, as that scene was going on, I liked that we kept cutting back to him, just flipping the coin. And then it was cutting back to Bruce and Chase fighting off the goons. And then it cut back and he was flipping it again. And he was like, shit. Like, oh, I really want to cap this motherfucker. I thought it was effective in its storytelling purpose, and that's the thing. Whenever an adaptation suffers, it's gotta pick it up where it decided to make those changes. You know, it's gotta improve, not just improve, but at least match the value of the original story from the comic books, you know? And I think they effectively used him flipping it over and over in a way that kind of paid off on the critical side. But Will heard it on the adaptation side, kind of similar in the way that they treated Dick Grayson's character in this movie, where he's adapted to probably be a little bit more emblematic of Jason Todd or Tim Drake, the other Robins, but they went ahead and named him Dick Grayson. And you know, the Flying Grayson stuff, that was all very loyal to the original idea of the character, but his family was not killed by Two-Face. Jason Todd's parents were killed by Two-Face, and Jason Todd sought out that revenge and all that sort of shit. So they kind of meld Jason Todd and Dick Grayson into this a little bit. And I think it works for the movie they're presenting us. You know, I think that one of the big cruxes of this movie for me is Batman trying to talk Dick down. Like, that's my favorite scene of the movie is after
you said Dick down.
Dick down. Yeah.
Just had to
Just had to get it out. But the scene where after Dick has gone out into the city with the Batmobile and did his own thing, and Batman brought him back, and he's like dressed in that like white t-shirt, a chain, a towel around the neck, and his like fucking dress pants, and he's like, "No, what's up, Dick?" And like this man came with the drip at that point in the movie. I was like, okay, this man looked clean as hell. This is kind of good look for him. But when Dick's like, "I'm gonna kill that motherfucker, you gonna help me? That's how this is gonna go." And he's like, "You're consumed by vengeance, Dick. You can't let that happen. So you're willing to kill a man." You know, like he did and I was like, oh, fucking thank God. You know, like, Michael Keaton's Batman's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll help you kill him."
No, Michael Keaton's like, death?
No, he was very strict to his no-kill rule. Even like at the very when he gets blasted in the elevator, a guy's running at him, he gets out of the way. He's about to fall down the elevator shaft and die. He catches him and throws him back and like makes sure he doesn't. Like he was very, even like that, where like beforehand, freaking you got Michael Keaton strapping a bomb, a literal bomb, to like just pushing it into someone and having them fall down a hole, knowing they're going to explode. The whole factory exploded, dude. Like, it wasn't even like just a little grenade. The whole fucking factory went up. Like, dude didn't care. Dude killed all the time.
Not my fault.
Man,
yeah,
I guess.
Well, I wasn't in the presence of this guy when he died. I didn't.
Bomb killed him.
I didn't know.
Me.
Caused him to die.
The bomb. It's not my fist that killed him. It's the bomb.
That happened every day.
So,
but I was going on about Bruce and Dick and their relationship over the course of this movie, and it was a line Bruce said that Batman said to Dick that made me go, "Oh yeah, this is like a definitive version of Batman." And it's whenever he tells Dick, if Bruce could have died, if Bruce could have given his life for your family, he would have. You know, like he's like, straight up, if I had had the ability to die and save your family, 100% would have done that shit.
Dude, and he did. He said, "Harvey, I am Batman." He didn't hesitate, really. He thought about it, and it was loud, so like he wasn't heard, but he was like, he admitted to it right then and there. But like, obviously just, he wasn't heard.
Well, and another one of my favorite things about this movie, a classic thing between Harvey and Bruce Wayne, is that Bruce was a friend of Harvey before he became Two-Face. And they don't really go into that, but there's this part where, you know, Michael Keaton's Batman is just like, "I'm gonna kill this motherfucker." You know what I'm saying? Whereas whenever Batman's up in that helicopter at the beginning, he looks at him and he goes, "Harvey, you need help. Like, you need to go see somebody and get help with this mental illness you're dealing with. This can't be okay." You know, like I really like that. He wasn't like, "Well, you need to die."
Yeah.
You know, I thought that, like, I think that's really effective as far as convincing me the character I'm watching is Batman. And so that's all in all, that's why the line, "If Bruce Wayne could have given his life for your family, he would have," was my favorite line, and my favorite scene was Bruce talking to Dick about his quest for vengeance.
I can't decide if Val Kilmer's ass in the Batsuit is my favorite shot, or after he does the like turtle shell in the fire when he runs out of the fire. And all the guards are like, "Holy fuck, that's the scariest shit I've ever seen." It's like, you know, like he's striking just fear. Like, it's like the kind of the most Batman thing. It was badass. Like running out of the fire and then just like beats the shit out of him.
Well, the amount of influence this movie had on the Batman's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Whenever he did rise out of that fire, I fucking heard burn, 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 like in the fucking movie whenever he flies the car through the fire and lands it and stuff.
Oh, the grab whenever he's covered in all of the rubble, and then Robin grabs his arm and pulls him out. Like, oh, dude, there were so many shots that were like obvious, just like comic book frame. Like they were framed like it was a comic book panel, like a straight up panel.
There was a wide shot of like they like do the scene, like show the area. Like there was just, it straight up looked like a comic book graphic, like not even attempting to look realistic.
I mean, so many shots where like the Riddler would just be like posing in front of something, like like the very beginning, or like, oh my fuck, when it showed like Harvey's lair, and it was like perfectly in line with his face in the background of like the wall and the face that was behind him. That shit was so cool.
Yo, when Jim Carrey like burst in there when he wasn't looking. I love that like Edward Nygma and Two-Face are like oddly erotic to each other. The way they like drape off of each other and are like hugging and stuff, and like I thought that was an interesting choice, and I really enjoyed it, because with a character like Two-Face, it would have been easy to be like, get the fuck off me, but they were like, nah, he fucking loves this shit, man. They're
both just like, crazy. Yeah, they both just want to get him.
This is some goofy ass shit. I love this.
I don't know. He convinced him. He's like, do you want to just kill Batman and it'd be over? You look for the next guy, or do you want to embarrass the crap out of him and then kill him when he's at his lowest, and we could do the greatest riddle of all? And like they just both they both just start laughing like crazy, like they just both like yeah. They like, it's like the psychopath's way of like agreeing to just be best friends, sort of way. I mean, kind of like the Riddler and Joker at the end of the Batman, like in the Pattinson Batman movie, like in their cells, whenever they both just start laughing at the end, like. So I don't know. I think I have to go with Batman running out of the fire for my shot, because, like, I mean, I don't know. It is kind of hilarious that the ass shot was in there, though, and I don't want to forget about that, because it's insane that was in the movie. Like, I legitimately did a double take. I rewinded to make sure that was his ass, because like I couldn't believe it at first.
Well, let me tell you. I'm gonna give you a chance for you to hold on to that. Think on that a little bit more. Let's all go around, give our favorite shot, and if one of us ends up taking him bursting out of the fire, or one of us ends up taking his ass, Joe has an easy out. So, Mike, what about you? Favorite image in this this movie?
This one was something I was struggling with going to the movie. I was trying to look for something that like just stood out. There's a few fight scenes, a few things like when all the high flyers fell, and there was just the capture of them in the spotlight, and then just that was. And then, like Joe said, there was the fire scene. But like what gave me chills, and I don't know why it gave me chills, it's something I think that's foreseeable, was the closing scene, was the very final thing before the end scene credits came on, and it's just the Batman logo and then the classic Batman and Robin slow motion running, and it was just like, yes, that's
yeah. I love that, dude. See, I was tempted to go with that too, because it's just so fucking classic. It reminded me, there's something about the Joel Schumaker movies that are so reminiscent. And they take great influence from the Adam West Batman stuff, and I feel like you'll specifically note it in Batman and Robin with George Clooney's portrayal of Bruce Wayne. He's basically doing an Adam West impression. But that last little scene reminded me of the like opening credits of Batman 66, where all the different colors are popping up for different characters and stuff. And I don't know why it reminded me of that, but I just got those vibes off of it big time. And, God, yeah, it was such as just like, fuck yeah, this is Batman and Robin, baby. This is what it's all about. I loved that shit. Good choice. What about you, Tav? How you feeling about shot? Favorite shot?
Oh, is he? Oh,
I think he's frozen.
Oh, okay.
I
thought he was
like,
in
man,
thought.
He's holding that face for a while.
I know. I thought he was in thought there for a second. I'm like, wow.
That was like,
it's kind of scary.
Sure.
That's kind of scary. Well, in the meantime, I'll go ahead with my shot. If Tav needs to leave and come back, he needs to leave. Oh, there he is.
Oh,
there he is.
There he is. Was that frozen?
You were frozen.
Okay. The favorite shot, I think either, I mean, all of them involve Robin. So we got Robin fucking folding laundry. That shit was hilarious. I was like, why?
God.
All this shit. Like, just put on the clothes around. It'll be
intense.
Well, like, I love that it's like not spurred on by anything.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's specifically so that Alfred can see he's capable of
Exactly.
wielding weapons, and he got that from laundry.
He
Like,
winks
why-
at he walks out like, and he kind of like looks Alfred up like, yeah, I just fucking did that too.
Yeah,
He
like,
walks
he
out of
was
the room
like,
like,
yeah, bitch,
fuck yeah,
what's
bitch.
up?
Bitch,
Like,
you can't do that shit. You're old as fuck. I just did that. Like, it was like, why? Why did you like? Oh my god, dude.
he does he like does the like nunchuck thing with his clothes, and it's like there's literally no reason. You're a douchebag.
Impressed? Like, man, I've been a butler for 50 years. You think I can't do that in my sleep?
Right? He's like, I've been living with Bruce fucking Wayne. You think I'm not capable of some crazy shit?
Yeah. And then right after that, you actually have Robin discovering the Batcave. And
my god!
Somehow falls down the slope of what I assume to be a level house, like right into the Batcave. I'm like, I feel like there's not a slope moving you right into the Batcave. Like there were no locks on doors, nothing.
That's his gymnastics just coming out, dude.
If you put a book back too hard on that book, you would know Bruce Wayne is Batman.
All the shit he did, it would have been just as fast for him to run down those stairs.
Right.
Like,
he
swings on the chandelier and he like stands up there for a couple seconds. It's like, all right, what's next? And then he goes on and like, you would have ran down the stairs just as fast, homie. I know you had an optimal angle, but
maybe he was just adding flair. He knew how much time he had exactly, and he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do some cool shit too.
This man was calm, cool, and calculated, is what you're saying.
Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, he called the shots. He was like, I'm part of this, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry. Fuck it. Whoops. You'll put my suit right next to yours, where it belongs. Sorry.
That was a little cocky. It was like, yeah, what's up? I'm like Batman now. Like, okay. Whoa. But another one of my favorite shots, it's probably not my favorite shot, is it was like all bathed in green. It was Dick Grayson standing above Two-Face when he's like hanging off the edge right before he's about to save him. And it's like a real hero pose. He's got like one leg up and like the wind's blowing, it's blowing his cape back, and he's like, yeah, I'm the shit. And the fact that Alfred's just like, yeah, I'll make you a bulletproof suit. Like, love that Alfred's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll cook that up for you right quick.
The constant dude made the best looking burger. Oh my god. When he came out and he was like, oh, well, I guess we'll just throw this out, see if the dogs are hungry. That burger, like, because they were, he's like trying to lead him on. They're like, all right, well, I guess, you could have a bike or whatever if you just stayed and worked on him. Whatever. Guess we can find someone else to do it. And then Alfred comes out with the best looking meal after he hasn't eaten in forever. And then, like, you just see him, he's like, okay, actually, I'll take that burger and this job and everything.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't know. That's the thing is that, like, if you put a kid there, like an actual 13-year-old, like, you just have to write. It just has to be written differently. Like, you can't really do the same stuff.
No, yeah, like, I think they took an easier route.
Yeah.
Like, it is just easier for him to be a little older, be a little bit more cognitive, and just be able to operate of his own accord, generally. He could have been a rebellious teenager, which could have been, I mean, he was, but like a 13, 14-year-old just wouldn't have had the same effect as far as the way they utilized him in this movie. But my favorite shot in this movie was Two-Face dying. And whenever he was in the water and his hand was above the water and it was sinking in, the coin landing heads up and him sliding right into the water. I loved that shit. I thought that shit was another one that was just a comic book panel. Like, I could see like the four steps where it's like fully out, on its way out, coin lands in his hand, underwater. Like I could absolutely see it. And I really fucking loved that shot. So that was the one I ended up going with.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to narrow down a line here. That was the thing I was having trouble with. And it might be the Holy Rusted Metal Batman. Just for the, Holy Toledo the Holy, like the call to be there, and then it's like, oh no, it's just metal with a bunch of holes in it. It's like the callback to the line there was cute. Like, and it's like they're on their first mission together. I don't know, and it like in full suit, just I don't know, a nice. I don't know. The thing is that like they had moments together that weren't really cute at all. That were like argumentative, but then like the moments that they actually had like together while they were fighting or like actually working together were like super cute and like were actually like if it was a kid would actually be so much better, like legitimately.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Alfred is just the constant though in every Batman movie that I like. He's just that dude. I don't know. It'll never change, and apparently he does never change, which is awesome. It's just this guy for here, and then Batman and Robin as well.
Yeah, that'll
right?
be it. He was in
And
Batman
that's his
'89,
end.
Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. The same Alfred every time.
Dang.
Michael Goh fucking killing shit.
Dude's a G. Yeah, that's nuts. But man, yeah, I don't know. I just need a and I think I'll just go with no, I don't know. That's not a good enough line for me. Not yet. I don't feel. I don't know.
Got to be beggars can't be choosers. Did Mike? Did you end up picking a line? Have you already elected?
I picked a line, yeah. And it's something that not anything that like stands out, just like that was super cool or super badass. It's just it caught me so off guard, and I had to do a double take, and it was like the very first scene, and I was like, wait, did that actually? I had to rewind and make sure that this is what I said. It's like opening of the movie, it's dramatic, it's intense. The music, the background, they're showing all the gadgets, the weapons. Batman's like loading up. He does his power walk to his car. Music is intense. They do a close-in of his face, and Alfred's like, "Could I persuade you to bring a sandwich with you?" And he's like, "I'll just get a drive-through." I was just like, "Wait, what?" I gotta go back to this because that was just like the most built-up moment. And he's like, "You should, I'm worried about you. You might be hungry while you're kicking ass." And I was just like, that just made me.
McDonald's is open.
And so that's my favorite line of the movie right there.
No, I fucking love that, and it's so Alfred.
Yeah.
It's so Alfred. The way that he's just like, "Could I persuade you to bring a sandwich along, sir? You might get hungies."
Yeah.
And, I'll hit a drive-through, Alfred. I'm gonna pull up to Wendy's.
Talk about just go by
When
there.
these batarangs fly, they ain't gonna fuck with it.
Yeah, that's an insane drive-through experience. Hey, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you? I want a sweet tea and a McDouble. And then like, oh my fucking god, it's
Give me a
Batman!
Bat
Make it fast, guys! It's free, okay, but you can just have it, man. Like, what do you
I'm
do?
gonna take a bat 20-ounce of Dr. Pepper.
Give me
and a bat burger.
yeah, a bat Coke, a bat double, a bat chicken, and 20 bat nuggets. With some sweet bat sauce.
And the people at the McDonald's drive-thru are like, "It's Batman again. He's back."
I think like he has like a line of credit because he's not bringing his wallet with him.
No,
Going and
they're like,
pockets.
that'll be $6.75 today, and he's like, "I'm Batman." They're like, "Can't argue with that."
Argue with that.
Oh man, but man, what's that leave for favorites on the Excel sheet, Joe? What you got over there?
Looks like Mike. Did you have a performance yet? Because you said Two-Face or Harvey for your character.
I agree with you guys with Jim Carrey being my performance. I think he just played so well, and like you guys mentioned a bunch on like they probably just told him to like, hey, you have to touch base on these few things, do these things, but go do you, go be the Riddler for us, okay? And he swept it away. I loved it.
Good, yes, and it was another performance that was like super over the top, but it was somehow incredibly comic accurate. Like he was still very just like you read that first Detective Comics issue that Riddler shows up in. I think it's like 140. It's like the definitive Riddler origin type comic, and it's like just exact like there's this little pose that Riddler does the first time he suits up where he like spreads his legs and he sticks his arms out and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Riddler." And I feel like that's just that was just so Jim Carrey the entire fucking movie.
That's what I'll be to the Batman. He has the line, "The Riddler, that's what I'll call myself, or that's what I'll be to the Batman." And he's like this. He's like all just totally like all Jim Carrey. Like, yeah, it was cool to see his portrayal of the Riddler.
And like throughout the movie too, like he started off as like a crazy scientist, just geeked out on, science. And then he got turned down by Bruce. And then he went on his own and got famous. And then he turned into a clean cut gentleman, like scholar looking at the ball or whatever that was.
Yeah.
And he would just bounce back and forth from the Riddler with his hair, and he just nailed all three.
I loved that too. That like this dude had like shaved, really short, bright red hair, and then in the next scene he's like all coiffed up, and he's like, the most well coiffed bachelor in Gotham City now. I think like there's a whole thing where he's like
Dr. Chase Meridian to go dance with him. Like, okay,
yeah. Oh, how about Drew Barrymore being in a microscopic role in this movie? Drew Barrymore is like very, very, very much so top of the bill actress now, and she is just Riddler's little helping hand in this movie. And I was like, yo, that's Drew Barrymore. I don't somebody call SZA.
Yeah, the cast for this movie is kind of nuts. It's I don't know. This movie just kind of has a lot going for it, actually. Like, it's sad looking at the rating on IMDb. Well, I guess it's critically. That's fair. I won't. I guess.
We don't want that to persuade our overall rating.
But like, I don't know. I'm loving this movie way more than I think the critical rating will reflect, anyways. Regardless, but I don't know. It was just super fun. Every character, like, Batman was the main character, but every side character, like, was actually meaningful. And it wasn't like just like, oh man, it's just they're on screen again, like whatever. It's like every character you cared about. And no there was no just character that was like a push off or whatever. Like everyone was, I don't know, just sort of, they mattered.
I dig it. Does that mean we are ready to rate this here movie?
I think it might be time. If I think Mike just might need his scene, and I need my scene. Unless Mike, you already had a scene, maybe. I don't know if you said it. I just didn't type it down.
Yeah, no, I had a scene, but you guys kind of talked about it. It was one of Tavarus' favorite shots of Robin just fucking up his laundry for no reason at all.
Laundry? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
10, 15-second scene of just him doing with the mop and everything, and then just walking away like
mops one spot and is like, that's good.
Yep.
Really?
Nope.
Alfred, I'm not used to being waited on. He like absolutely fucks up his laundry and mops one spot on the floor and is like, yeah, man, I do my own chores. And Alfred's like, I'll finish your fucking laundry and mop the floor then. Jesus Christ.
I know my scene now. And it's whenever they figure out that it's Enigma. Mr. E, mystery, the whole Val thing that they go through, the riddle that they solve, putting the two clues together. Oh, maybe 1/8 is 18. Mr. E, mystery, Edward Nigma. Like the whole when they got
so
there.
Batman 66. I don't know if you remember them being like, oh, and C, that must be for Catwoman. You know, like that whole shit, like the C, SEAE. But no, what if it is C, Catwoman?
Oh yeah. Oh, that is kind of true. I wonder.
Yeah, like there's a lot of reverence for the 66 movie and show, in Joel Schumacher's adaptations here. But what
was that has the full quote on IMDb, and I kind of wanted to like go through the through line that they had, because it was a lot more than I remembered it. Like let's see, there were 5 little items of an everyday sort. You'll find us in a tennis court. AEIOU vowels. Not entirely unclever, sir, but why do a clock, a match, and a chess pawns and vowels have in common? What do these riddles mean? Every riddle has a number in the question, and they arrived at this order: 13, 1, 8, and 5. 13, 1, 8, and 5. What do they mean? And then Bruce says, perhaps the letters of the alphabet? Of course. That would be M-A-H-E. And then they say, perhaps 1 and 8 are 18. It was about to spell mayhem, which I thought was like...
I thought that's where they were heading.
I know. I thought that was like his like plan to like ruin Gotham or whatever.
Well, I thought it was going to be Mayhem, Mahem, and it was going to be kind of like the Batman where they were like, El Rata. That's some pretty fucked up Spanish, because that's not how you exactly spell mayhem. They would have solved it and been like, well, I guess it's close enough, so it must be that.
But yeah, I guess true. Then they figure out 18 is R, so it's Mr. E, mystery, another name for Edward a mystery. Enigma. Mr. Enigma. Edward Nigma. Stickley's suicide was obviously a computer-generated forgery. Wow, instantly. It's obviously a computer-generated forgery.
I don't know, man. You watch someone on a videotape go,
that's fair.
And then Alfred I'm going to go, yeah, that was probably computer-generated.
Maybe this is my line. You really are quite bright, despite what people say from Alfred.
Yes.
You know what? I got to give Alfred the line.
We always got to have Alfred getting something.
You're right. Alfred's got to get something. He's the constant, the goated aspect of every Batman.
There's zero doubt. But then with that, I think we've covered all the favorites, correct?
And that is true. Yes.
All right. Then I think it's time we move on to the rating. And the way we typically do this with a guest, Mike, is we allow the guest to cultivate their own rating of the movie alongside what me and Joe have come to appreciate the movie as, because we have talked, this will be your first movie in the project. This is our 11th. So we have a lot more to compare with and go, you know what, this is where we feel in comparison to this. Yours is an unfettered, completely just, this is how the movie is. And especially coming off your Snapchat, being a good friend of yours and seeing that a lot. You're obviously no stranger to rating movies, so I'm excited to get your take on this, which is very exciting. But we got enjoyment, genre, and critical, and I'll leave out adaptation for you. Me and Joe have read a lot more Batman comics, I'm assuming, than you've been privy to. But we'll cultivate your rating alongside ours. So let's start with enjoyment. As far as this movie is resonating with you, 1 to 10, how you feeling, Mike?
This one was high for me. I gave it a solid 9, and I think some of that is just I was kind of downplaying the movie. Just one, because it came out in '95. I've been exposed to a lot of MCU, a lot of Star Wars, Harry Potter, just a lot of newer movies who have done a lot since 1995, and so I didn't have my expectations were very low. I was like, oh, this is 95, like Batman movie. I was like, this can't be that great compared to what we have now. And I was just the cast, just this from starting scene to end scene. Like, I was never like a point in that movie where I was like, oh, this is boring and a lame old movie I don't really care about. Like, no, I was always interested in, especially like having that mix up of the most recent Batman to this 95. Two were kind of opposite on a lot of spectrums. I was a lot more engaging in that, and so overall, I definitely enjoyed this movie a lot. And I'm glad I got on to the project, because I forgot about these movies, really. They were a long time ago, and now I'm not just going to watch this. I'm going to go watch all the other ones, too, because I'm sure I might feel the same way about those. So
Right. No, yeah, they've all aged rather, I mean, like, there are elements of them that have aged poorly, but overall, the stories are like, oh, compared to a lot of the superhero movies we get now, these are nothing but fun. Like, a lot of movies concern themselves with being like, we've got to be like, what if we can get an Oscar nom for the MCU? And you're just probably not going to do that. You're just probably not. And these movies were like, fucking Oscar, bro. Let's do whatever the fuck we want. Let's make some money at the box office, which is what this is all about in the end. But a 9 out of 10 there. Cool. I'll keep track of yours for the enjoyment. I'm not too far off from that, Joe. How you feeling enjoyment wise?
I don't know, because the closest comparison is Mask of Phantasm for this movie. It's like because it's better than the Keaton movies. I'm enjoying it way more. Like, I'm having way more fun here than the Keaton movies. And it's like meaningful. It's weird. It's like, it's campy and bad, but just, it's also good at the same time. It's so weird. I don't want to call it bad. It's just corny a little. Maybe corny is a better word, but it has a bad connotation to it. But like, It's not critically good, but goddamn, I was just enjoying watching it.
I had a lot of fucking fun, and like
I
that's
don't know.
there's a lot to be said for that. Are you on a relatively similar scale as Mike here at a 9?
I think I might be, because like I think I might have had more fun watching this than Mask of Phantasm. Then the question remains: did I have more fun watching this or Superman 1?
Hey man, you take it that far, I can't go with you. You can wander out into those waters, but I'm gonna let you drown.
Don't worry, I'm not. Superman 1's a different type of movie. It's in between Superman and Mask of Phantasm though, at a 9.
No shit. You're coming out at a 9.25 then. That is resounding. And I'll bump mine a little bit. I'll meet you halfway with a 9.
No, I was at a 9. I was, because Mask of Phantasm was an 8.5 and Superman's a 9.5.
No shit.
Yeah, enjoyment wise.
No enjoyment. Batman Mask of Phantasm got a 9.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this is okay. So now that puts it on the same level as.
That's why I thought you were going 9.25.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know. I think I did have more fun watching this movie though, is the thing. Like Mask of Phantasm there's a lot more just kind of slower moments. And it's more like story based, and they had to get a lot of story like in a short amount of time. But this one was like whenever Two-Face was on screen or the Riddler was on screen, it was electric. And then whenever it was Batman or Bruce, it was the all the good story and stuff that you want. And like the Batmobile is a little weird. That's like the only thing that kind of got me out of it. But like other than that, I'm having fun the whole time.
I fuck with that. I can't confidently venture out there as far as you can.
I think a 9 is the fairest. I think matching it's the fairest, because if Mask of Phantasm is as long as this movie, then that might be a 9.75, 10. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that like they had to be very concise. But I think putting out a 9 is fair.
Okay, cool. I'm right there with you. My gut went like 8.75, kind of bump it over Batman Returns, but less than Mask of Phantasm, because I personally can confidently say I don't like it as much as Mask of Phantasm. However, I respect
enjoyment. I guess yeah, it is a different type of enjoyment for Mask of Phantasm
for sure.
Completely. So I think it's I can't confidently put one above or below the other for me.
I fuck with that. Yeah, I dig that. So we end up coming to the same as Mike here at a 9 out of 10. I'm down for that. Genre wise, since all of these are superhero movies, we tend to break them down into more subcategories, and this becomes an action adventure, I would say. I don't think it necessarily falls into many other categories.
That's what IMDb says.
All right, cool. So out of 10, as an action adventure movie, Mike, how are you weighing this against a lot of other action movies you've seen in your life?
Not as high as my enjoyment, but not far off. I gave it around an 8 for the genre. I think it could have gotten a little higher. I could have gotten a little bit higher rating because I factored in like what's the right word I'm looking for? Like the detective finding out clues. Like
right.
I think if they would have implemented that a little bit more into this movie, like just had more because Joe, you mentioned earlier when him and Alfred were figuring out the clue, like they just they just powered through it, and it seems like I feel like they could have done a little bit more with that, and so that's gotten a little bit lower of the rating. But overall for action, like it was, like I said, from the get go to the end, it was just like bang, bang, bang. A lot of the fight scenes were kind of our shots of our favorite shots or favorite scenes of the movie. So like I think they did pretty well with that. So I gave that around about an 8 for me for genre.
I fuck with that. No, I'm not too far off. In fact, I might be a little higher on it. Like I think as compared to Returns and 89, this has a lot of better action than those movies did. And it gets a lot further out there than those movies did too, with Well, I don't want to say further out because the Penguin shit in Batman Returns is kind of nuts. But as far as comic accuracy, which I'm not really supposed to factor in here, they managed the action of this movie very, very effectively. So like I ended up coming to about an 8.25. I don't know that I can confidently say I liked the action adventure stuff a ton more than Batman Returns because it got pretty far out there. But where this movie elevated the action, that movie elevated adventure, and it's kind of they end up kind of balancing each other out.
Like
I think.
I think that's fair. I think that's it. It did better than 89, but about the same as Batman Returns. I like that. I like 8.25. I think a little bump from 8 is fair here, and it deserves it because I think that's where I guess adaptation will be pretty strong too. But it's gonna fall critically. It's not gonna be up here where it is right now critically.
No,
that's
no.
for sure. But like
yeah,
I think
no, but adaptation wise, this is high. This is high. Like I'm going 8.75 out of 10. I think.
I didn't do a deep dive like you guys. I kind of skimmed through and tried to like puzzle things there, and I actually gave mine an 8.8 out of.
Okay, baller.
One thing that I really loved was the Jekyll and Hyde thing in the comics. I love that, and that just like that stood out to me. Brought me back to our high school English class. I think it was that.
Right.
Yeah. So
what grade was that?
I think it was soft.
Like I feel like it was early on.
We had English together, Colton, and that was back when you were on your crutches, I think, from football, and we would always.
Yeah. Aaron's, that was junior year.
Oh, was that junior?
Yeah. No, because you said one of my premier. I'll edit this out if you want. One of my premier memories of that class was you snorting a pixie stick or like crushed up Smarties. I can't remember which one it was, but we were watching like The Great Gatsby and it was like in the mood for that sort of thing. So it was just like crushing a line of pixie dust.
Hey, they showed me how to do it, so I thought I should demonstrate it. So.
No, yeah.
Did your nose bleed? Were you good?
No, I mean it definitely stung because it's probably not supposed to be ingested that way, but it wasn't anything.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. Probably not though.
I think it's perfectly safe. I mean, you're kind of roll. I mean, we don't endorse,
place, you know.
We don't endorse that sort of thing here, technically, because you're probably not supposed to do that. But I don't personally see a problem with it as far as Michael was concerned. I think we'd had a fun journey of putting things in Michael's body.
A lot more stupid and rather dangerous things than pixie dust up the nose. I think that's on the lower extreme level of things I've done.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, fair. No, fuck yeah. But fuck yeah, English class, Jekyll and Hyde. I fucking love that. No, and I'll factor that in if you're cool with that because yours isn't far off from our rating, because I mean personally I was going 8.75. Thought the adaptation was really strong as far as Val Kilmer's Batman was concerned. Two-Face, Riddler, all super solid. The only place where it kind of takes a hit is the Dick Grayson portrayal of him being an older kid instead of a younger kid. It worked for the story they were telling, which is why critically and enjoyment-wise it doesn't really affect it. But it does give it a decent dink as far as this one is concerned. Because if this kid is 13 and they frankly they could write it almost exactly the same, this is a 10. Like I think as far as adaptation is concerned, it's just that like they didn't quite do everything right, and it was a pretty massive thing for me personally. So over a point, I feel like 8.75 is where I end up coming down. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I mean the only gripes would be that with Dick Grayson and then the Two-Face coin flip the multiple times, but that's like a super small gripe with Harvey Dent. I think they did Harvey. They did Harvey very well. The Riddler, like they Jim carried the Riddler a little bit, but like as far as everything, like it was. Like I don't know,
still did like super Riddler shit. It wasn't
it was and all the crafty, wouldn't see him like in his. I don't know if he was in the Wayne, Manor or like Wayne Enterprises building still, or if he was in his like own apartment. Whenever he was like crafting the cards, and like putting the magazine letters in there for like the cryptic, like building all the riddles and stuff. Like, it was just really cool, like, seeing that, like, little shot of his montage. So yeah, I don't know, it was really faithful, especially to Batman, and Bruce Wayne.
This was the most
So
faithful a live action adaptation
yeah,
has been to Batman.
yeah, I think 875 is fair.
Okay.
It's because Robin, that's the only thing really that this movie lacks in adaptation.
Fuck yeah.
And it's crazy because at first I didn't even realize it, because I just accepted that Robin was old just for some reason, and like that he wasn't a young teenager and supposed to be a kid, and like I just accepted it for the movie, and like it worked is the thing. Is like for the movie it worked, but like it's just they were so faithful on everything else. It's like just weird that they decided to go that route. But
Yeah, right. No, yeah, I'm 100% with you. So I do end up coming at an 87.5.
Okay. I dig.
But that does bring us to the critical rating, where for us, I know it will probably suffer the most. But Mike, how you feeling as far as just like acting, direction, fucking score, all the things that go into making a movie good, Oscar worthy type shit? How you feeling about this out of 10?
This one, I've also looked at the IMDb one rating, Joseph, and I thought that also is low compared to mine. I give this one around an 8.1. I thought the cast was incredible, and just the way the characters played, honestly, that's what kind of did it for me. And then, like I said, like the kind of me downplaying it, have my expectations lower, I think is probably why I gave this a higher rating. I just wasn't expecting it to be this good, and overall with the cast is what mainly swept it away with me. So that's why I kind of got it at 8.1.
I fuck with it. That would bring your overall rating to about an 8.5, an 85% on the old tomato meter, which is a resounding success. And on your rating, you would match roughly what our guest did on Batman 89. He ended up rating his about an 84. So like y'all viewed those in a rather similar light. But with an 85, that would make on our scale this top 3. And I still think it's going to find its way there, but I don't know that it'll be as high. Because personally, I can't confidently tell you this is better than Batman Returns, which is, we ended up giving Returns a 7 out of 10 critically. I think as far as direction is concerned, Tim Burton washes Joel Schumacher. Visuals, everything, it felt a little bit more thoughtfully done in 89 and Returns.
Tim Burton's Gotham was cooler as well.
Oh, a lot cooler.
And
this looks more like Metropolis.
And cool little Metropolis drop in the movie too was kind of cool. When Batman's like, you could be halfway to Metropolis by now, or something, like just a throwaway line. It was just,
right.
I don't know, it's kind of cool just to have it in there. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably it's around, like, I can't say it's a 5 because it's not just an average movie.
No, in fact, I'd go far north of that. Like when I say it's not quite as good as Batman Returns, I mean like the one step down from it, 6.75. Like I'm not talking like, oh, it's a 6 out of 10. No, like this is a still
so better
like,
than Superman 2.
Yeah,
that was the where I was thinking is like Superman 2 would be the closest, or Batman Returns or Superman 2 would be it's in between a 7 and a 6, I think. That's for sure. And it's closer to a 7 than it is. I think 6.5 is like the floor, probably.
Okay.
But the 6.7, I can't. I don't know if it's closer to Batman Returns or if it's just a 6.5.
Gotcha. No, I'm perfectly cool with dropping it to a 6.5 if you're more comfortable with that, if that feels more right to you. That's also very cool with me, because Superman 2, frankly, is a very, very solid movie. The only place where that falters is the villain side of things. And this movie doesn't really have those problems. The villains are strong, it's exactly what these villains were supposed to be, if you ask me. But
0.13. Wow. That puts it, that does put it top 3 if it is 6.5. for critical. Still, if we do give it a 6.5 critically, it averages it out to an 81%, 8.13. So
an 8.1, as Mike put a second ago. Look at that. Look at God.
wow. There you go. I think I do, because that puts it in the top 3 of our list. That Mask of Phantasm is 1 at 944. Superman 1 is 2 or second at 938, and then it will go Batman Forever at an 8.1, and then Batman 89 at a 769. So kind of a gap there.
Yeah.
It filled the gap between Superman and Batman 89.
I think that
very
elevation is really just that this was more of a Batman movie.
Yeah.
It felt more like a Batman
It was
movie.
the main character.
Yeah, Batman 89 feels like a Joker movie, and Batman is just kind of a rich dude in a costume.
Yep.
He's not really the principles of Batman. He doesn't struggle with anything. He's just like, oh, I gotta kill that motherfucker. It's kind of the whole thing.
That puts it in hell yeah, barely. In the tier list, which is rounding out the bell curve even more. In the tier list that we have, almost made fuck yes. If it's an 8.5, that would have been fuck yes, but not quite. So I think that makes sense though. Superman and Mask of Phantasm are our only fuck yes movies so far. And hell yeah, we have Batman 89, Batman Returns, and Batman Forever. And I think that's pretty fair. I'd put Batman Forever definitely at the top of that tier though.
I think so too. I think so as well. Yeah, and for those who don't know, we've incorporated our Marvel tier list into our comic book movie project, and we've assigned them ratings per tier. Instead of being like, oh no, that feels like a fuck yes, because we have like an A to F tier list. A being yo what the fuck, B being fuck yes, C being hell yeah, D being that's cool, E being okay yeah, and F being meh. And this ultimately does find itself in sort of a middle tier. It's kind of weighted heavily because minimum a hell yeah is going to be a 7. At max, it's going to be an 8.4. And this finds itself at an 8.1, which does slot it in rather nicely there. Fuck yes being an 8.5 to a 9.4. Yo, what the fuck being 9.5 and above. That's cool being 5 to 6.9. Okay, yeah being 4 to 4.9. And meh being 3.9 and below. And we've got 1 in meh, which is Supergirl. Okay, yeah has 1, and it's Superman 3. That's Cool has 4 right now, and it's Batman 66, Superman 2, Howard the Duck, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Hell yeah has 3, and Batman Forever, Batman 89, and Batman Returns. Fuck yes has 2, and Superman and Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And Yo What the Fuck is yet to get its first entry. And therein is our tier list. It's there. It's on our Discord. If you're interested in joining that, you can go ahead and hit me up separately on Twitter or something. But hell yeah, guys, that does conclude it. Ours are coming to roughly the same thing. You Mike giving it an 85, us giving it an 81. Keeps in tradition with us being a little bit harsher than our guests. They've been loving to the movies, and completely understandably so. But with that, I think we do conclude Batman Forever. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including tons of comic book pull lists weekly, book reviews all the time, movie reviews every once in a while. $3 a month, and you can help this podcast stay alive. Cost me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. So that'd be awesome, and greatly appreciated. We're currently doing Winter is Blooming, Game of Thrones rewatch podcast. Very, very fun. We're going to continue this comic book movie project with next week being Batman and Robin, where we are going to have a friend I met through Twitter and is an avid listener to the podcast and has been for over a year now, which is really, really cool of them. Claire, she'll be a fun one to have on for Batman and Robin, and I'm very excited about that. if you would, if it still exists, there's no telling at this point. Twitter, head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow on Hive at Penny Bloom Pod, follow on Tumblr at Penny Bloom Pod. This Twitter thing's got me freaking out about where else I'm going to promote the podcast. Head to Instagram, follow at Penny Bloom Podcast. Unfortunately, Tavarus had to leave before the end of the podcast. He got his thoughts in, though. We didn't have much beyond it. He left right before the rating. So shout out to Tavarus. We love you, buddy. I was also joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And Michael Muehlberger, thank you so much, buddy, for the first appearance on this podcast, and it will certainly not be the last. You were a great guest here today, so thank you so much.
Of course, thanks for having me on, and yeah, hopefully it's not my last. Hopefully I'll get to come on here a few more times. Love talking with you.
You should. And who knows? These episodes are scheduled so far in advance. This won't be out until March. It's a long ways away. This might not even end up being your first appearance on the podcast. There's no fucking telling. By release order anyway. But thank you so much for being here today. And so very glad that you came on, and can't wait to talk with you again. Remember, everybody, peace, love, and bloom. And I'll be sure to go to a drive-thru.